So it's yesterday, and I'm in my room. I just had an amazing workout, and I retreat back to my room. I'd already did the hardest, most important things of my day. I already worked a little bit, already worked out, trained. So now I decided, oh yeah, I'm gonna meditate. So I meditate. Then I say, oh yeah, I still have a few hours before I go to sleep because it's still just 7 a.m. So I decided to just, under 8 a.m. I decided to grab your journal and then record another quick video. But then I have so much more free time. I don't want to spend the time just watching some random podcast. So now I realize that I could do something that I hadn't done in a long time. And you will be shocked when I tell you what that is because that's something I appreciate a lot. Reading. I pick up The Way of the Spearman, my favorite book ever. Definitely one of my favorite books ever. And I just read it for 1 hour straight. And that's when I realized that the information you get from books is so structured in such a different way than from videos and podcasts on YouTube. I'm not trying to say that videos and podcasts aren't valuable, but it's not really possible to replace them with reading. I think you definitely need to do both if you want to truly learn and get the best informations out there. I just started watching just podcasts, like just watching podcasts, and long form videos, unedited videos, where someone just like talking head videos, when people are just sitting there and just talking about something informational. And I just started watching those. I'd stop reading entirely. And God was the mistake. I don't know how I could make such a mistake, but it was a grave mistake. So yesterday, for the first time, I started reading, and it's reading again, and I read for like hours and hours and hours. I read for like 4 or 5 hours, and I also watched a few videos, informational videos on YouTube. But mainly my source of learning yesterday was just reading, and it was just amazing. I got reminded of so many realizations, so many epiphanies, and it truly changed my mindset again because I reread some books that I already read, and it changed my mindset again about business, about life, about masculinity. So it was great, like it was very helpful, and I'm not trying to shit on these types of videos or podcasts. I think these are so valuable still. I get a lot of value from these videos. I get a lot of value from YouTube if used correctly, but it can't really replace reading. You have to do both. And if you had to only do one, I would just pick reading, honestly, than watching podcasts on YouTube. If you had to pick one of both, you couldn't just do both. You had to pick one. I would pick reading. Definitely, like without hesitating. If you asked me the question 3 years ago, I would have picked YouTube podcasts, random videos, but no, they can be very valuable, but the information you get from books is insane because you spend your time just focusing on one topic for 7, 10, 12 hours. Imagine if you had like a 12-hour long podcast or a 12-hour long video. That's the equivalent of that. Maybe I should start making these videos like 12-hour long, who knows? Imagine you have like 12 hour of a topic, 8 to 12 hours of a topic, just contain and confirm into one book, into one source of information. That's why a book is so amazing because you just forced like focus on one topic for so long, and it goes into so much details that no podcast or no video on earth goes into. And it's actually I realized that I actually enjoy reading more than I do watching podcasts. Some podcasts I enjoy watching, really enjoy watching them as much as I do reading. But in general, especially the world of spirit, man, time just flies by when I'm reading this book. And I also read Expert Secret yesterday, and it changed my mindset about business again. I'd already read this book like 3 times, um, and I had so much fun. And something with reading is you don't have to read like it's not so trivial. You don't have to like start one book and be like, oh yeah, I need to finish this book before reading another one. Or I need to read this book chapter by chapter. I need to read the introduction, the foreword. I need to read this chapter, even though I don't really need it right now. No, it isn't this trivial. When I read The World of Superior Man, I didn't like go chapter 1, chapter 2. No, I just went to the table of content and I saw the chapters that interested me, and I went from chapter. I just went randomly from chapter to chapter to chapter to chapter to chapter. This is the way you should read in general, I think. You shouldn't focus on this. Read like you would read like a blog post. You would like just look for the information you need right now. Something you're curious about, things you're curious about. I was curious about a lot of things in the book about Superman today, but I didn't just read the book or page like from chapter to chapter. I didn't go page 1, page 2, page 3, I went like chapter 10 and then chapter 17 and then back to chapter 5 and then chapter 40 and then chapter 35. It's same thing with Desperate Secrets. I started reading the first chapter. Then I noticed, oh yeah, there's this part I'm not really interested in it. So I'm not really curious about it. So I would skip to chapter 3, where there was amazing information that I was very interested in. And I read that. And I went to another chapter. I think that's the way better way of reading if you truly want to enjoy it. Because for a long time, I'm gonna be totally honest, I hated reading. For most of my journey, I fucking hated reading because I forced myself to just read. Oh yeah, when I started a book, I didn't allow myself to read anything else unless I was finished with that book. And I would often read books and buy books about topics that I wasn't really interested in right now. I would just do that and force myself to read them to the end. And that's why I started fucking hating reading. I started hating reading. It's only recently that I learned from Hamza and some other people how you should read and actually enjoy it. Because when I saw people enjoying reading and saying, oh, yeah, reading is so fun, it didn't make any sense to me. I thought what? I was like, what? Reading is fun for you? But yeah, when you read books that you're actually interested in, it's actually fun. When you just read chapters that you're interested in, it's actually fun. So I'm really interested in masculinity and business right now. So it's actually so freaking fun to learn about both things. So read books that you're truly curious about. Because when you're curious about something, you force yourself to read it because maybe I said you should read it or some other guy said you should read it. You will genuinely start hating reading. Like in the past, reading each page was a struggle. Reading for just 30 minutes was really difficult. But 45 minutes, it was hell. 1 hour, for 2 hours, it was so horrible. Like, sometimes reading, you see it as this activity to relax. For me, it was as difficult as my workouts. And it can be not as difficult as my workouts because I can't read or something. No, I can read pretty well. But because I was so freaking bored whilst reading. So choose a topic you read about wisely. And so another realization I had is, so I really want to make more videos about getting rid of addiction, especially social media and phone addiction, because that's something I struggled with recently and I still struggle with a little bit. And I want to make more videos about things I learned about it and the things I learned in my journey. I want to share more about it. So even with reading, yesterday I spent very little time thinking about craving social media or watching BS on YouTube, because reading is, I said, it's very, when I do it correctly, I have a lot of fun doing it. So I still had a lot of fun doing it. So for most of the day, I don't really crave watching YouTube so much. And I'm gonna be totally honest, at like 5 p.m. I did start watching a little bit of YouTube. Yeah, at 5 p.m. I watched YouTube. I'm totally honest. But yeah, it was a lot of progress because a few days ago I would like do maybe some days I would just wake up and watch YouTube all day. even recently, I told you in last video that recently I've lost a lot of discipline, but I'm building it up again. So yesterday was a pretty productive day in comparison to other days. So I made good progress. I still watch a little bit of YouTube at the end of the day, but yeah, for most of the day it was pretty productive. So even to get rid of your addiction or social media addiction or phone addiction or video game addiction, replace it with reading. Replace it with reading books that you're so curious about, that you're so interested in, that you just love it. Replace it, like find books that you're interested in and don't have the limited bits of, oh yeah, I don't have the money to buy books. You can install a free PDF on your computer. For almost every book out there, there's a free PDF you can install on your computer or your phone. So saying I don't have money is like, it's just a limiting belief. You can just Google it, the name of the book, and then you write free PDF at the end, and you can get that book. Now you think, oh yeah, but I don't know which books to buy. Just research about it on YouTube. Find a topic and just type books about, if you're interested in running right now, books about running. And there will be YouTuber that will just make a video talking about different books about running. So yeah, I just wanted to make this video to remind you how important reading is, because I think, including like my past self from like last week and many other guys on some improvement, we call ourselves, we say we got some improvement, we don't really read regularly. I think that's like you could do a lot better. Reading is so important, so make sure you read at least every day. If you can, at least 1 hour a day of a book that you're currently interested in. So yeah, don't run from discomfort. Chase it.